Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here, playing some more Warhammer combat cards, and in this video I'm going to be talking about two traits that just got altered a little bit. This change was actually supposed to take effect at the beginning of the current season of Ranked, but they weren't able to get it out because they had to just make sure everything was working properly. But the change has now gone live, so you can go and test it out yourself. I'll be talking about the less significant of the two first, and that is with Fear. Now all they've done here is just altered the amount by which it reduces damage by a little bit. So at trait level 1, it used to reduce damage by 30%, but they've buffed it to 35%. So it's a little bit stronger for those lower level cards, and it just goes up by 5% each time. So at trait level 2, it is actually the same as it used to be, 40%. At level 3, it used to be 50%, now it's 45%, and then finally at max level, it is 50% instead of 60%. So I think this is a good change. Fear felt a little bit weak at the lower levels, but just too overpoweringly strong for those high level cards, especially big ones like the Keeper Secrets and whatnot. So this will make it a little bit less oppressive to play with. To play against, I should say, at the higher tiers of play. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the more interesting of the two changes, though. Shield has actually gone through a pretty significant nerf. And let's just go ahead and... These are all of the cards that are affected by it. Of course, there are 31 cards in my collection. I am missing a couple cards. But how Shield works now is that it has a limit to the amount of damage it can block, and it is 60% of the card's base health. So it just depends on how much health that card has, and that means that the lower health cards, like these cheaper ones here at the top, will be blocking a lot less damage than the ones with the higher health towards the bottom here. And it also affects 4 of the warlords. Canoness Viridian will not be able to tank as much damage with her shields as, say, the Swarm Lord. Now, Swarm Lord has so much health that it's not really going to feel like much of a change, I think. There's very few attacks that will be able to actually break through the Swarm Lord's shields, but these smaller guys will not be able to block infinite amounts of damage like they were used to. And so, basically, this really helps out melee decks in particular, but any deck that is able to deal a whole lot of single target damage at once, whether it's through a charged up attack or just through brute force, those will definitely have a much easier time at dealing with these shields. And so you'll be able to just go with brute force instead of having to rely on AoE damage to get rid of shields. So let's go ahead and test it out. Oh, I should say, I don't know if I mentioned this, but yeah, it's 60%, and that's for all of the levels of the trait. So, you know, changing the level of the trait, it still works pretty much the same. You know, at the first level, it gets 1 shield, and second level gets 2 shields. That still functions in the same way. So, in a lot of cases, it won't actually be a noticeable difference, but let's go ahead and test this out. I have a deck with Lieutenant Tolmaron, who's able to deal plenty of damage through buffing his ranged attack, and I've got 3 cards in here that do not combo with him at all, but they have shields, which is what I'm trying to show off. Now, actually showing this in battle may be a little bit more tricky than you would expect, because you need to... We're trying to be able to show a unit destroying an enemy shield, which takes a lot of firepower, and this early in the season, we're probably not going to be facing decks that actually have enough attack power to break through these shields, despite using these lower health cards. But so we got the Blood Angels Terminator, we've got this Centurion Tigurius, and then 3 ranged units. So we'll go ahead and deploy and see what happens. Hopefully this is a battle worth showing, but we just have to wait and see what we're up against. It does sound like we are up against Space Brains, who do have the most shielded units, but it is Grandmaster Voldus. And let's see, what level is this guy? Level 5, okay, decent level there. Just gonna start off with a ranged unit here. I'm hoping that they deploy some shields so that we can at least see this thing. But the Apothecary, that's gonna be an issue because that thing debuffs ranged. Don't really want that thing on the field for long. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and drop down these ranged units first and maybe hope to deploy the shielded units later. But it looks like the Storm Talon gunship is not wanting to deploy, so we'll just go with, I guess we'll just put this guy down here. So, at least the first thing that I can show you is how much damage these shields are actually going to be blocking. You can see that by zooming in on the card, and then clicking on the little shield icon at the bottom here. So this Centurion will block up to 70 damage with his shields. Okay, and that doesn't get changed even if he gains health through like healing or anything. And unfortunately we are unable to take out the Apothecary on the first turn. But actually I think they're going to be going Psychic, so it's going to be fine. Now we're up against Grey Knights who have like all 3 attack types, so, and also Psionic Blast. Now with Njal Stormcaller, so that is definitely going to be taking down the shields there. Of course, AoE attacks will still be the best thing at destroying shields. That remains unchanged. But again, you can also use Brute Force to bust down those shields. So we'll see what their final bodyguard is. I'm hoping it's Tigurius, because he does have shields. He's guaranteed to have shields. Okay, there he is. Okay, this is good. So hopefully we'll be able to try to we'll try to destroy the shields on that Tigurius over there. And they're giving us actually a very good opportunity by wiping the board. So then we can put down the Storm Talon gunship over on the left side and buff it like crazy with these other 2 cards. Yeah, this should be fun. So let's go ahead and throw down our Tigurius right in the center there. Storm Talon getting a whole lot of ranged attack. And we'll see how much damage that their shields are capable of blocking. So let's go ahead and take a look. Wow. Yep, that shield can still block up to 106 damage. And there are 3 shields on this guy. So that's still, as you can see, still able to block a lot of damage. But Storm Talon does deal a decent amount of damage, 239. So we'll see how much goes through here. And we'll be able to see the new animation, I think. Lovely looking animation there. So yeah, it took out a big chunk of his health. And I think on the next turn we will be able to finish him off, even though he still has 2 shields remaining. So that is a very big change. Previously, that Storm Talon gunship would have done absolutely nothing to Tigurius there. And actually you saw some damage leak through on the Blood Angels Terminator there from Castellan Crow's attack. Alright, and yeah, so actually the Tigurius on our side is able to block as much damage as theirs. But yeah, we should be able to take out this their Tigurius, I think, with this attack. Alright, so down he goes. And yeah, this actually turned out to be like the perfect video to showcase this new interaction with the shields. So that worked out very nicely. Whole lot of damage from Castellan Crow there. Wow. Alright, let's just finish up this match here with another ranged attack. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this change. I think it's definitely a big step in the right direction. Makes facing shields a lot less frustrating when you're using these type of decks that deal a lot of damage, which are the decks that I personally like to use. So, let me know what you think about the new changes to Fear and Shields, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.